And here we are live. Here we are once again. I don't know the day. I very rarely know the day. It is September 24th, however. It is a Monday. Welcome to Astrology Mojo with Elaine, Marolakos, Edelson. I'm going to help you get your mojo back. So we've been talking about Venus and Venus going retrograde. And I just want to add a little something to the last event that I talked about with Venus, which I forgot to mention. And that is if you were born with a Venus retrograde, what happens? People were asking, hey, I was born with a Venus retrograde. What happens to me? Well, you know, things won't happen to you unless you are creating the happening. That's going to be you. Hi, Audra. And so with Venus retrograde, if you were born with a Venus in retrograde, then what happens is you start to develop a deeper sense of self-worth. When any planet moves out of retrograde into direct motion or from direct motion into retrograde, what you usually feel is the shift. And that can feel depressing, especially if you were born with a Venus in retrograde. Or if you were born with a Mercury in retrograde, when Mercury goes direct or into retrograde, you feel something off. It just doesn't feel right. And you may get depressed. Or you may think, why bother? I put all this work in, nothing's going to happen. So I just wanted to mention that if you were born with a Venus in retrograde, this is your time to shine. This is your time to put that product into the world, to get your romance back on track, to create that business that you've been wanting, to get a better grip on your finances. So that's the information for you if you were born with a Venus in retrograde. Now, today we're talking about Pluto, the planet that represents core transformation, is going direct on September 30th. So this is the week it starts to begin its process in doing so. And what that's going to, and I'm going to talk about keywords for each of the signs later on. But basically, when Pluto is in retrograde, things get unearthed, but in a more quiet way. And so things in politics will come out. You know, Pluto deals a lot with the mass global consciousness or the unconsciousness for a lot of people. And, you know, because Pluto represents... Now remember, you know, I've got to say this every time in case you're new or you're not familiar with my work. The planets don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with our cosmos. So when the planets make the move, you feel it. How can you not? You're a sentient being. When you make a move, the planets will reflect that in astrology, in the signs that they're in, whether they're retrograde or direct. So it's just another way to look at your life and how to, it's a language, basically. It's a people science. Astrology is a people science. And so it's one way to look at how you can move forward, get beyond your blocks, your stagnation, your fears. And Pluto, the planet that is now a dwarf star, but there's a big motion to bring it back to planethood. And I hope they do. And so Pluto represents for you a global mass sense of power and connection. Now, on the downside of any energy, person, planet, place, or thing, we live in a world of dichotomy, do we not? That Pluto is jealousy, or Pluto is subterfuge, or Pluto is obsession and manipulation, wanting to get back, wanting to undermine something, like in The Incredibles, the Underminer, coming up from the ground and boring holes in things, and you don't know until the foundation collapses. So, but the plus side of Pluto represents your power, ultimately your core transformation. So if you're undergoing something very difficult, and I'm going to talk about each of the signs and rising signs in a little bit. Oh, my dog just came in to join me. Hi, Coda. You want to come up and say hello? No, I don't think so. She has other things to do. So Pluto on the upside is more about how you can take the fear that you recently discovered during the Pluto retrograde. Remember, retrogrades help you to face inward and down so that you can take a look at the things that aren't working for you. Where do you sabotage yourself? Where do you use jealousy, manipulation, obsession, control to try to get your way, according to the negative side of Pluto? But the positive side is how you can use the power that you have to transform, and we have this power. It's in our nature. It's something we can do. It's who we are. You can use this energy to move into a much more productive place. Now, Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn right now. It's all about building. Hi, Kate. Welcome. Pluto is all about building and creation on that building, but it's very intense and very serious. So why does my screen look so dark? I don't know. Maybe if I don't know. Anyway, I keep correcting the color. It's crazy. So when Pluto goes direct on the 30th of September, we're already feeling it now, and it may be subtle for some of you. I am a Capricorn rising sign. So if you're a Capricorn sun, rising, or moon, it may not be profound to you for Pluto to go direct, because then you'll just start to feel a little bit more stable in what you're doing. Hi, Leanne. In what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're approaching life and your work and business and romance and the whole thing. I see my hair sticking up. So with Pluto now, Pluto's a pretty intense planetary influence, and we'll call it that. And, I'm just moving my notes over because I'm distracting myself. With Pluto going direct, first thing you want to check is, have you been having any issues with your reproductive system, or any issues during sex, or any issues that deal with, hey, Pam, hey, it's my cousin. Any issues that deal with not your sexuality, but actually the act of sex. Because if there's pain, if you need hormone adjustments, that's a Pluto thing too. And anything dealing in the pelvic region. So once you get tip-top shape with your hormones and what's going on in the pelvis area, then we look at where in your life do you feel like you lack control? Or where in your life do you feel like you are controlling something too much? Because, the reason why we control things is, a lot of times we want to give. We want to help. We all come here to serve. But service at the sake of the self is denial. And that Capricorn is big on that. And so is Saturn. So with Saturn and Capricorn, Pluto and Capricorn, that tells me that we're forming new structures in society. We're forming new structures in our body, in our minds, in our being, with each other, because Pluto, again, is a global experience for the subconscious self. And not to get too heady about it, but the subconscious is, you've heard the phrase, the shore of your unconscious self. The shore of your unconscious self is where you create everything, where you have one experience. And I've said this before in a different event, where let's say it's raining outside and it's icy, and you walk outside and you slip and you fall and you say, ow, that really hurt. Okay, so some part of you registers that walking in the rain where you slip and you fall is dangerous, and you start to become afraid on some level. And you may decide the next time it rains, when it's cold out, you may decide, I'm going to walk really slow, like an old person. Or I'm going to have someone come pick me up so I don't have to go to my car. Or you may not go out at all, thereby limiting your life experience. So anytime you look at what control means to you, and sometimes, when our daughter was younger and all the friends would come to our house and everybody would play and they all had a great time. And suddenly I put myself in control mode. It's like, who needs a snack? Who needs to go out? Who's sleeping over? Who needs pajamas? So like I took over. My husband would come over and just put his hand on my shoulder and say, Elaine, just let him go. Just let them go play. If they need something, they'll come to you and go, oh my gosh, you're right. So you have to look at your life right now and where, since Pluto has been in the retrograde motion, and it still is until the 30th of the month, where in your life, hi Lisa, hi Nancy, where in your life do you feel like you have been out of control? Like too crazy, too wild, doing too much for other people who are not asking for you to do too much? Where are you controlling others? Or where do you feel that you have been in a submissive position where you have been told what to do, or maybe perhaps someone has manipulated you in business or in friendship or in family? It could just be a passerby, someone on the road where and it brings up, all this angst and anger. So that's one of the definitions of Pluto. Hi, Sasha. Welcome. But I like to look at the more positive too, because, we're always going to deal with the fear and the negative. So how do you deal with fear? That's a great question. People ask me all the time, especially my clients who come and say, I, got a handle on my business, or I've got all the money I need. That's not it. But when it comes to a personal relationship, I'm scared to death. Or when it comes to my health, I'm so afraid. I don't want to get those tests. I had an employee that I said to her, I will pay for your dental. And she said, I don't want to go to the dentist because what if they find something and then I'll have to have surgery? I was like, okay. But fear is going to stop you from being healthy. You don't want to pretend, oh yeah, it's over there. I'm not looking. I'm going to look over here because it's prettier over there. We can do that for only so long, but we just keep turning away from the fear. And eventually we're going to come full circle. And then you're going to be going in circles. And then you're going to say, my life is never changing. Well, it's because we have fear. So let's do our best to move beyond the fear by doing some of the neuro exercises that I got from Mark, the neurologist, Mark Walden. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. I want to say Mark Wahlberg, but that's the actor. No, I don't know Mark Wahlberg. I wish I did. I'm forgetting his name. Mark Wallum? It's making me nuts. Okay. Anyway, it's through John Asseroff and Neuro Gym that I met Mark. And some of the exercises you can do if you start to feel anything less than positive. We can go from, there's negative to neutral to positive. So we want to experience life. Hi, Lisa. We want to experience life. But when we start to experience fear on a repetitive basis, when there doesn't need to be fear, if there's an anxiety building in you, if there's doubt that amasses and accumulates over time, Waldem, thank you. Mark Waldem. He's great. Look him up. You can do exercises with him online. But when fear starts to accumulate, you really lose sense of now, I'm not going to say reality because everybody has their own reality. But when fear accumulates, you start to create perceptions that are not necessarily true for you. Let's put it that way. Okay? Not necessarily true for you. So if you're undergoing something that is chemical, or you're healing from an illness, or you have hormone injections, or you have, and women who are, moving into the menopause or perimenopause, they understand this. If you're pregnant, these kinds of exercises can really help reduce the fear because the hormones are crazy. And when hormones are out of control, the fears get bigger. Or the happy, it's like taking a happy pill. It's like, yeah, everything's great. It's all good. House is on fire. That's okay. I have insurance, or it can go the other way. Someone lights a match and you go, no, the house could burn down. So if you've got a hormone issue going on, it's very important that you deal with it in a healthy way. Now, what also changes hormones, and I'll get back to Mark and the neuro exercises, but what also changes hormones is your food. So we always told Aaliyah, food is mood, right? You know this. So you want to make sure that you're not just eating what's typically considered healthy by other people, but what's healthy for your body. Now, as a family, we did Ancestry.com. I'm not affiliated with them and I don't get a commission, just to let you know. But we did Ancestry.com, and my doctor, who's a naturopath, did raw data. We got the raw data from Ancestry.com, DNA data, and then our doctor printed out our paperwork, and we saw, she helped us decipher what it was, but at the end of the report on each page, it lists what kind of vitamin B your body needs, you specifically for your DNA, what not to eat, what is better. I mean, even in Aaliyah's report, it said no noise, because noise really affects Aaliyah. I mean, it's just too much, creates a lot of anxiety. So you want to look at your body, and if you can, get your DNA tested and go to a doctor who can do that. If you can't find something like that, email me, Elaine at astrologymojo.com, and my doctor does Skype, so I can pass that along to you. So once you get the hormones taken care of, then we want to look at what's the repetitive fear. And a lot of times people, like my husband, one time I said to him, what are you afraid of? And Dean said, nothing. Oh, so typical of a type A personality. And so I used a different word. And you have to find words that help your body to trigger the feeling, okay? Because not all words are going to work for the same person. So with Dean, the word fear didn't work. But loss worked for Dean. And I forget the other two. There were two others. So when you start examining what you're afraid of or what the repetitive fear is, like some of my clients will say, I'm really afraid of winding up alone in life. I have all the money I want. I can't seem to make that connection. I have other clients who are looking for that one, thing, the purpose in life. And I said, well, you can have many purposes in life. It's not just one, but someone who is geared toward going to college, getting a degree, they'll say, well, I have security here. I get tenure here if I'm a teacher, or if, I got to pay off my bills because I'm a doctor. So I went to college and I've got to go do this thing because this is what I studied for. But yet deep down, I knew someone who works in banking, and he is an amazing metal worker, an artist. He makes these designs that you could buy for thousands of dollars, but nope, got to provide for my family, which is fine. It's not a judgment, but I'm saying, but what happens then when you shift from what gives you joy to what you think you're supposed to be doing and the responsibilities, then you move away from having a more intentional life. And we want to create an intentional life. We want you to be a mystic mojo, right? I want you to help get your mojo back. So what's going to do that? What's going to help you get your mojo back? Well, with Pluto going direct now, look in your life, and I have notes on each of the signs and rising signs. So for Pluto going direct. But in the meantime, and I'll be back talking more about what the planets are doing. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to talk about on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 11, 12, 1 p.m. Eastern. But I will be back, and I'll be talking. There's always something to talk about, right? Oh, Neuro Gym, right. So some of the exercises you can do are the moment you start to feel fear or anxiety or that sense of doubt or loss is, and you can combine these things, is to jump up and down 5 times. It's called a pattern interrupt, okay? You jump up and down 5 times, or you clap your hands 5 times. If you're happy and you know it, clap. Yeah, okay, we know that song. or you burst into song for 5 seconds. I won't right now because a little dry and I haven't warmed up. Or you can, for 20 seconds, just watch it Just watch it, observe, and let it go, because your body can't hold on to the same energy for more than 20 seconds. And you can only think one thought at a time, really. So you get to choose. Do I want to think a positive thought or a negative thought? Well, sometimes you can go for neutral, because that helps you create a bridge from negative to positive. And so a bridge thought of fear might be, oh my gosh, first of all, fear is present, not I'm afraid. You don't want to say that I'm afraid, because then you can't separate yourself from the fear. So fear is present. Oh, wow. Fear is present. My son's out tonight and he's driving the car, and he's a new driver, and there's a rainstorm, and I'm really nervous and I'm a little afraid. Okay, so now we know, we've established what the fear is. Then you can jump up and down, clap your hands, burst into song, create the pattern interrupt, but then replace it. This is my addition. You need to replace that space that you've just created with something neutral to positive. So it is, my needs are met. Love is everywhere. I am supported. Find a phrase that helps you to move into a neutral place. And once you do, then I want you to come back to, okay, Pluto's going direct on the 30th of September. And between now and the 30, how many days are in September? I have to go through that rhyme that I learned when I was a kid. Through, I would say, the 2nd of October. So through the 2nd of October, you're going to feel that alteration of Pluto and the power and your subconscious and what comes up. So I would like to see you take at least 3 to 4 minutes a day. 3 to 4 minutes a day, just to, I was reading someone's post. I forget to scroll, and I don't get all the things that you leave. I don't see everything. So I apologize if I don't get to respond to everything. But during this time through October 2nd, what you're going to start to experience is that, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. All the doubt and all the fear and all the control and wanting to put it out into the world and control something outside of you. So minimize that. Just take a few minutes a day and get quiet and do deep breathing and get focused on what your power is about. Where is the power in you? You have the power. Here's something I want to show you. You may not have heard this recently, or maybe no one has told you ever, but I want to let you know right now. You are awesome. You are awesome. Woo! You're awesome. You are. I got to take a drink. No, it's not vodka or wine. I don't do alcohol. I get high enough just giving readings. Okay. So, hi. So, Lisa says, I just, shifting, need my mojo. I never had it. Oh, never had your mojo? Okay. Well, here's a great way to start. You get calm every day for 3 minutes. Before you rush into the next thought, before you rush into the next email, binge TV watching, the next relationship, when you haven't even gotten over the last one, before you go to the next thing, get still. Just be still. Be still, people. A couple of minutes every hour. And if you're sitting in an office, or you work in a facility or an industry where you can't, zone out and meditate, what you can do is get still at your desk. 3 minutes. And breathe. You can have the paperwork in front of you. You can, have the computer. You can be typing. You can be making notes or doodling. Doodling is a great way to help you calm down and move your energy and changes chemicals in your body. So you have 3 minutes. You can find 3 minutes. It's all about self-investment. And if you don't invest in yourself, it doesn't matter how many of these kinds of calls you get on, how many free things you get in the world. If you don't apply the information, it goes nowhere and nothing changes. And so that's really important. Okay, very important. So I'm going to go over what Pluto, some keywords, a couple of things to pay attention to. If you know your rising sign, and that is gotten from the exact time of birth, the location, longitude, latitude of birth. And if you don't, then this applies to your sun sign. Now, if you don't have your astrological birth chart, you can get it for free on my site, Q Dean, who's going to give you the link to astrologymojo.com, how to get your free birth chart. And you can see what your rising sign is. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you. Here's Pluto. This is what Pluto looks like. The PL is the newer symbol. And the other one that looks like a person with their arms up in the air, that's the more ancient symbol of Pluto. And I drove by a restaurant in town in Sedona a few months ago, and they had a sign out. And I had to take a picture of it. It just made me laugh. There was nothing else around the sign. There was nothing except this. And this is going to make you laugh too. Very, very soon. When are you going to get your mojo back? Very, very soon. You're welcome, Lisa. There it is. Thanks, Dean. Astrology Mojo. Get your free birth chart and personal sun sign interpretation. Go to, and it's right there. Okay, so NeuroGym. Oh, if I haven't shown you recently, folks, your neurons, or what neurons look like. And you change them every day. Synapses, the food you eat, the sleep you get or don't get, the chemicals in your body, the thoughts and feelings, everything you are makes these things happen. And when these things happen, it means you start to think thoughts. And these thoughts can help facilitate your life, or they can bring you down in a hurry. I think it was, who was it? Neil Young. Don't let it bring you down. Okay, I won't sing any more Neil Young. It can make dogs whine. Okay, or cats meow. Okay. Oh, so Sasha says, say that fast 3 times. Sasha says, she was born with Pluto in Scorpio. Well, Pluto in Capricorn is an earth sign, so it supports water signs. So this is a happy thing for you. Okay, so now for each of the signs and the rising signs. Aries, sun sign, Aries rising sign, Pluto in Capricorn along with Saturn in Capricorn. This is a combo deal. Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. This is going to be more about possibly your different topics, your masculine parent, or a clearer, more concrete life direction, which you're hoping to get and look at. So it could mean a new job. It could be coming back to work after being out of the workforce. It could be maybe it's time to retire. So you're going to get a little bit more concrete, Aries rising sign about your life direction. And it might also mean that your masculine parent is needing some assistance, or this person might be preparing and ready to leave the earth. Taurus rising. Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn have more of a higher education focus for you, and also with dealing with contracts and legalities and putting any kind of products into the world. This is going to help you to get really, not succinct, but get to the core. Go where no one else has gone before. Wait. That's a Star Trek theme song, isn't it? So Taurus rising, you can go to new places with, it doesn't have to be legalities. It can also deal with travel or helping other people use business tools to help them excel. So that's what's going on for you. Gemini rising. This is more about getting a clearer financial picture now. Because Pluto and Saturn are in the 8th house, there's going to be some karma come calling. And that means if you have been spending unwisely, now is when you have to tighten your budget. If you have too many credit cards, now is when you want to get the scissors and cut them up. And pay off what you have, consolidate your debt. Also, with Pluto in the 8th house, there is an inheritance due. It doesn't mean someone necessarily will die or pass away, but it can mean estate planning, or the inheritance can be something emotional, where an elder relative comes to you and talks to you about maybe healing something from the past. So you want to look into what can change for your financial picture right now, and how, you're going to get a lot of phone calls for, donate, volunteer. Your credit cards are coming due. So you're going to want to start talking to bankers, accountants, attorneys that deal with helping you to lower your costs, helping you to understand finances better so you don't get stuck in a hole. And, lately we've been getting so many political phone calls. Have you been getting these phone calls? And I answered 3 polls. I did. I took the time. I answered 3 polls. We've already voted for several things, and I've already donated. Okay? I've done my service, my community service. But we're still getting these phone calls. So at this point, the phone is ringing all the time. Every 15 minutes, it's some bogus number, or now they're using local numbers. So we answer the phone. Hi, Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Nobody. So I hang up, Or the last time it rang and I picked up, my husband was out walking the dog, and I picked up the phone, and I knew it was a solicitor, another pollster, somebody that I've already talked to a million times. And I went, why? And there was nothing. And they went, I said goodbye. So I hung up. So you're going to get a lot of phone calls, Gemini rising. Oh, also, Taurus, I want to just backtrack a second. Taurus rising sign. You may get an opportunity to move out of debt, or to start to understand how to build credit for bigger financial deals. Go for it. My husband's a Taurus rising. All right, Cancer rising. This is going to be more about marriage and partnerships, or if you don't have a partnership, it's why not? What happened? Where's the fear? Remember, folks, this is about moving forward with these topics and coming out of a place of, I'm afraid to do this because of what happened then. Okay, so we want to get past that fear. It's, you can't stay stuck. All right, you've heard me before on this. You can't stay stuck. Nothing will change, and nothing will change. So Cancer rising. Business associates need restructuring right now. Marital partnerships, if you work with your partner, then you're going to talk about how do we restructure our business, our mutual goals, and our lifestyle around this business. Now, this can also mean higher end clientele, or saying goodbye to the ones that suck you dry. You really have to set the boundaries now. Cancer rising. Leo rising sign. This Pluto going into direct motion, remember with Saturn, is all about building. Now, what are you building? Is it a business? We want to talk about your health first, because if you're not, as my daughter would say, Gucci with your health, then we got to get on board the health train. Okay, so that means your hormones. It means a routine, something that really helps you to get into a healthy structure with your health. Now, this can also mean minor procedures, and something might have come up during the Pluto retrograde, and now you're saying, oh, I have, a thing, a bunion, a cyst, a thing. I have to, I might have to have surgery. Or maybe not. Maybe it's a type of medication that you need, or a type of holistic food plan. When I changed my diet, the cysts that I used to have on my head, they disappeared. And many years ago, I had gone to a dermatologist, and I said, and he was treating me for cysts all over my head. And I said, well, how do I get rid of these? And his answer was, this was the typical medical answer, and his answer was, get different parents. But anyway, I changed my lifestyle. I changed my habit. I research health every morning, mental well-being, physical well-being, remedies, herbs, food. Every morning, that's what I do. So I changed my diet, and I cleared up everything in my head. Cool. Except maybe some of my thoughts. They're still there. Why? Hey, Garth is here. Oh, can you have the link to get your chart there? Dean just posted it again. Fantastic. Okay, so Leo rising, you're still on a fact-finding mission and this could be something that deals with your community, and it might be dealing with lobbying or political affiliations or associations, or it might be having to restructure the business. so that you're in code, or, you know, you have the right permits, or you have the right business accoutrement. I think that's a French word, right? Okay. Virgo rising. Fifth house. This is not the best placement for Pluto in the fifth house. If you are trying to get pregnant, Virgo or Virgo rising, this, and if you're male or female, this could deal with a part of your body that and I don't want to say you're going to have a miscarriage. I'm just saying that if something were to happen where you have difficulty getting pregnant, or you're you're put on bed rest, or the doctor says, you know, the indications are we're looking at a possible miscarriage, then what I want you to understand is that this purge, because Pluto is a purge energy, right? So what you undergo through a purge makes way for clearing the decks for health, for healthier structure. Okay, so not to say that it's going to happen, but if this is something you're focused on, and this deals with romance too, you might be in a very sobering place right now with romantic partners, or maybe someone in your life has passed away, or maybe you're divorced, Virgo rising, or maybe you're thinking, well, why should I bother? I'm 72 years old, 85 years old. Why should I, and then your daughter, your cousin, your whatever is saying, get online, go to eHarmony. What could it hurt? So you want to reconsider how to restructure your ideas around loss through love, loss through relationship, and how to help your kids, if you have children or grandchildren, help them to get a leg up and feel more secure with structure. They need something really healthy in their life styles right now. Okay, Libra rising. Oh, this is going to be more fun. You're undergoing reconstruction. So that can mean building. It could mean redecorating. It can mean, I know 2 Libra risings right now who live in different states, and one can't decide on the correct color for their basement room. There's like a playroom, and they keep putting paint on, and it keeps coming out not the way they want it. Now, the other Libra rising is literally, there's demolition. There's the bathrooms are coming out and new stuff is going in. There's design, there's painting, there's a whole remodel. Now, this can also deal with your own inner self and your identity and your relationship to your maternal or feminine parent. Now, if you live in a household with 2 dads, then it's the more feminine parent. Or if you live in a household with 1 dad, no mom, it deals with your feminine energy and assuming a role that you may not need to. So, and it can also mean helping your parents transition, Libra rising. So if your parents are getting older, it could mean that they might need you more, or they might need your assistance in some way. Okay, Scorpio rising. We want you to be more specific about your message without, let's be delicate. Sometimes you can just be so driven and, you poke at people and it's like a sting, Scorpio rising person, it can sound caustic or sarcastic, or it can sound inappropriate, or it can sound manipulative or controlling. So if you're a Scorpio rising sign, you want to be specific about your message and how you can, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to teach? Do you want to help a sibling? Do you want to change your thought patterns? So these are the kind of things that we're looking at. Oh, Jen says Libra rising, literally putting up paint samples right now in Old Town Cottonwood. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing it now because Venus is going into retrograde on October 5th. So right around the end of this week, start painting. Because if you buy something in a Venus retrograde, it doesn't look like what you want it to. And you go, what have I done? Chartreuse in the kitchen. I can't believe it. It looked so good at the time. It was called melon. Made me hungry. And then when the Venus goes direct, you're looking at it and saying, no, it reminds me of 3rd grade, public school. Okay, good luck, Jen. I hope it all works out. Okay, Scorpio, your message. It could also be about writing or going deep to find out the messages that you've been getting from other people who say, hey, Scorpio, Scorpio rising, you're a little too in my face. Or, hey, Scorpio, Scorpio rising, you're a little too intense. Or if it's a male Scorpio, Scorpio rising, I need you to communicate. I need you to actually say something. I need you to open up and express your feelings. So you have to start working on intimacy, okay? Next up, we have Sagittarius, Sun and Rising sign. All right, so another not great placement for Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. This is all about you've been going over your finances, and you're looking at, if we invest in this, we have to hold off on that. We've got to start saving for college. I don't know. It might have to be, let's look into scholarships. So all the stuff that you're going through right now, Sag rising sign, it's more about, you might think, oh, it's been hard work. I have to work for every penny, but it's let's go deeper. Remember, Pluto is about the undercurrent, the underminer, and it's about regeneration. So if you want to regenerate your relationship to cash, then we need to look at the other definition of the second house in astrology, and that is your self-worth. Do you feel that you are worth more? If so, then raise your rates right now, this week. Raise your rates. Or if you work at a job where it's one, you get one set fee or a salary, then maybe it's about looking at taking some of that money and investing that money into something you love, something that gives you joy. And it may not have to do with business, but what gives you joy? You want to put aside some money. I think I learned from Judith, was her last name Orloff? It was years ago. I'm 58. I was 27 or 8 at the time. About that, 29. And I heard this financial planner. She was before Suze Orman. And she said, at the end of the week, go through all your pockets, your purse, find all the change and put it in a bucket. And at the end of the month, see how much money you have. Well, I started to do that. And I would come up with $30, $55. And I would start to take that cash and I would invest it in things that gave me joy. Going to movies, dancing, computer programs, things like that. So I want you to look at doing these kinds of things. Hey, Nikki. Hey, we have 2 cousins on board today. Cool. Thank you for your support. So Sag rising, it doesn't have to be a sad time or a financially strapped time, but if you examine your relationship to money and get to the underbelly part about your worth, I think you'll find that you can start to do some exercises to help you. Listen to my other events that I have on Facebook, and you'll find EFT tapping. That can help. The neurogym exercises, going from negative to neutral to positive by clapping your hands 5 times, bursting into song for 5 seconds, or jumping up and down. It creates a pattern interrupt. Then replace it with a positive action and statement. I am love. And then go out and buy yourself something small. $5, you're worth it. So go treat yourself. Treat yourself Tuesday, Parks and Rec. All right, Capricorn rising. Where are we now? So Leanne asks, how do you know your rising sign? I'm a Scorpio. Okay, so you would go to the link that's in this feed, that it's in the comment section, astrologymojo.com, that my husband Dean posted, and you can get your free birth chart. Now, if you look on the horizon line, and well, it's going to be backwards if I show you on this screen, but the horizon line, it'll be on the left-hand side. The sign that's on the left-hand side will be your rising sign. So here's what the signs and planets look like. So you can get a glimpse of this. Get your phone out and take a snapshot of this so you can see that if you have Aries on the rise, it's on the left side, right on the horizon line, on the left side of the wheel. Or it could be Taurus rising, it could be Gemini rising, any of those, then you can see what your rising sign is, okay? And you can get that absolutely free on my website, astrologymojo.com. You're welcome. All right, so where are we? Capricorn sun and rising sign. Now, you're no stranger. First of all, Saturn runs your whole world. Saturn in Capricorn means you're having a Saturn return, which means approximately every 7 years, we want to look at your life and say, well, where are you now? It's like the big clipboard comes out, well, okay, I see you've done this. Check, check, check. I see you've done this. How would you like to advance in life right now? So with Pluto also in Capricorn, no stranger to you because you've been going through it for a while, and you're understanding that you need to set a structure that helps you to feel healthy. Number one, it's about your body. So what about your body do you need to change? And I don't mean through cosmetic surgery. I'm talking about, do you need to, I'm a Capricorn rising sign. So I have Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn return. And so I signed up to do Beachbody. And for, it's been exactly 4 weeks and 2 days, I have been working out minus 3 days. So I'm working out consistently. I'm more flexible. I dropped 2 pounds. I'm stronger in certain areas. I've had a shoulder injury with plantar fasciitis and a back thing. So I'm healing those slowly. So I have more motion, which is great, more mobility. So Capricorn, Cap rising, you want to look at your body, look at your hormones. I am going to the doctor tomorrow just to get my lab work read and see what's changed. So you want to have a healthier expression too. With the first house, with Pluto going direct, you want to claim your power. Remember, folks, Pluto is about power in these situations. So how can you find your power with health, with your identity, with finances, with romance, depending on your sun and rising sign? Where do you want to claim that power? So I am becoming more direct about how I want my business to be run, looking at the types of clients that I would like to attract, and also finishing up my astrology masterclass so people can learn how to read their own charts. And you could be doing very similar things. And these kinds of things for Capricorn, Capricorn rising, it's more about not taking on the burdens of the world, because not everybody is your client, number one. You're not meant to, there's a popular thing that I will say to my clients, especially the Capricorn, Capricorn risings, and that is service, yes, but not at the sake of yourself. Service at the sake of yourself equals denial. Capricorn, Cap rising. We need to be done with that, right? Everybody's here to serve. You will find your populace, you will find your demographic, and if you're not someone who's an entrepreneur and you're working at a job or you're at home with the kids or you're retired, you're still going to find a way to serve. How would you like to serve? What groups would you like to be part of? Would you like to lead? Would you like to be seen as the elder in your tribe, in your group? Well, this might be, a way to go about it by first taking care of your body, and then second, looking at how you can move this energy into a thing, a product, give a talk, volunteer. What can you do to have more of a contribution in this world and in this earth so that you feel needed? Now, a lot of times, Capricorn, Capricorn rising sign will work like a mule tied to a rope with no rest or break, or they'll take on very needy people just to feel needed, so that they can, I got it. I could take care of these needy people in a heartbeat because, I take care of everything. So remember, power, control. Where do you need to give it up? And do so accordingly as Pluto goes direct on the 30th. Another sip. Hey, listen, in case you're just joining us, I want you to know this, in case you haven't heard it ever in your life or you haven't heard it recently. You are awesome. There it is. You're awesome. All right, Aquarius rising sign. Well, this is the 11th house for you. It's a natural place for you. With Pluto here, you have to decide where to mature. How are you maturing right now? And what kind of groups are you part of? What kind of groups would you... I would say, you know what? Hang on a second. I'm going to look at, I have a chart right here on my desk, and I want to be as specific as I possibly can. So we are looking at Pluto. Well, I would say Aquarius rising sign, that you've just been getting over some kind of illness, probably, or perhaps, you're just coming into grips with your own psychology, maybe your own psyche. So if you haven't had a counseling session in a while or ever, it might be good to book one this week. A massage too, just to get your body in feeling better about your life. And also the thoughts that you think that create anxiety or stress, or the control you think that has to happen, or the failure that you think is going to happen. So these fears that start to come out, that have been coming out during the Pluto in retrograde. This is not an easy placement for Pluto. It can be very, there's movies like Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. And then Inception, which is a little heady. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. And if you can follow along, it's pretty profound. But Source Code, and also a happier film called About Time with Rachel McAdams. And anything that moves your perspective from I'm a failure, or my body's taking the hit because my mind won't allow myself to assume power. And I don't mean negative, totalitarianism, dictatorship power. I'm talking about you have a power within you, Aquarius rising sign, that you deny. And when you deny it, you lose the essence of who you truly are. Now, I know some Aquarius rising signs who are too much into control and power, and they've just been sideswiped and they just took a long vacation. Good for you. Perfect thing to do with Pluto in your 12th house. Now, Pisces rising, this is the time to decide what to do with the groups and association that you have been with for quite a while. Now, there's a couple of definitions here. One, there might be an elder in your life or a mentor that may be leaving, or maybe they're just entering. But with Venus retrograde, I would say that, what is it for you? 11, 10, 9, 8. It feels like more of a letting go. Letting go of a woman or a group that represents women in your life that has up to date defined you. Now, I know a Pisces who gives groups for women, and so I think she's actually recently decided to put them on hold for a while, so it can mean that too. And if you have a friend who's really not been a friend, then Pisces rising, this is the time to assess for yourself and stand in your power and say, no, that's not okay with me. I don't like the way you treat me. I don't appreciate the way you speak to me. And so I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let you go as I let it go. But that takes a little bit of a process and a little bit of a daily doing instead of obsessing. Remember, Pluto can mean on the negative side, you're obsessing about something, you're trying to manipulate something, you feel powerless, or you're trying to gain power somewhere. So there's control or passive aggressiveness. But on the flip side, on the upside, it's more about you assuming your natural power and learning how to say no to behavior that is not healthy, that is toxic, that you know what's not healthy for you, right? Pisces rising. And so if there are people in your life who have been trying to control you, or you feel that, and it can be a friend or a relative where you don't need to let them go completely. Maybe you just need to have a conversation and say, I'm a little uncomfortable about this thing. And maybe you're the one who's been trying to control things. If you're a Pisces rising sign, you want to think about the two things: your idealism, your cynicism, and where you need to let go of insecurity, because that insecurity turns to manipulation. So, and you might manipulate with sweetness, or you might manipulate like a tyrant with Pluto there. I know some Pisces who are pretty scary people. They have big hearts, but they're scary people. And if you're a Pisces rising who has people in their life or groups, maybe you're part of an association or a membership or a club, and you're thinking, I don't jive with their morals anymore, or with their code of ethics. So I'm going to bow out gracefully. So you decide what you need. But the more positive side is that you can now, as you make space for things, what you bring into your life is a new group. And so that they can help you bring your dreams to fruition. So you want to think about that. So that's pretty much the Pisces chat, and Pisces rising chat. And for each of the signs, for Pluto going direct on the 30th. Okay, so I'm going to be back on Thursday, and Thursday the 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and that's 1 p.m. Eastern time. I haven't decided what I'm going to talk about. People have asked me to talk about different things, but I like to look at more, intuitively what's coming up, and I'm going to pull a card for the group for today. And thank you so much for joining and for being here. And again, if you don't have your astrology birth chart and you don't know your rising sign, take a look at this. You can go to astrologymojo.com. My husband has posted the link somewhere in the comments section, or you can go to my site, and I want to help you get your mojo back. So that means standing in your power. That means being true to yourself. That means finding joy. And if you don't know your rising sign, these are the symbols here: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. And then you can come back to this recording at this event, and you can listen again to what Pluto going direct has in store for you. So here's a card for everyone today. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up. Is this information helping you? That's all I need to know. Is this helpful for you so that you can start to understand how to move your energy from stagnation, victimization, anger, defeat into something more positive? So just let me know in the comments section if this is helping you, and what topics you might like to hear me talk about in upcoming Facebook Live events. Okay, this card keeps jumping out at me, and here it is. Ooh, interesting, because we were just talking about extremes, right? So polarity is the card that I pulled, and polarity represents the extremes in life. So if you've been through a Pluto retrograde, coming from one way of being with your power, and it's been more about obsessing over something or trying to control or manipulate something, now we're going to flip to the other side and look at the polarity, look at the extremes in your life. When you focus on something more productive and powerful and joyful, what you get back is the same thing. Okay, cool. Awesome, you too. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I want you to come back on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern or 12 noon Central time. And I haven't decided yet what I want to talk about, but I'll get back to you. And hope to see you then. Be you, be sparkly, be awesome, because you are. And I'll see you on Thursday the 27th. Be well.